that Australia hosts the World Athletics Cross Country Championships, that our only ever world champion is part of the system.
And from Bonita, a past winner, we're going to find out who is going to be the 2023 Senior Women Champion. Could it be Edna Kurgat of the USA? She won the USA Championships cross country earlier this year. Beatrice Chebet from Kenya. She has an incredible CV for someone so young. Gold at the World Under 25,000 2018. Gold at the World Cross Country Under 20 Junior Race in 2019. Can she do the same in the senior race? Gebra Salama from Ethiopia, 2019 bronze under 20 World Cross Country race. 22 years of age, a big chance here, stepping up into the seniors. Rahel Daniel of Eritrea. She is amazing. World Championship, 5th World Championships at the 10,000. National record of 30.12 in Oregon in 2022. Now, this athlete is one to definitely watch. LETESENBET GIDEY from Ethiopia. She was 3rd at the 10,000 Tokyo Olympics, the world record holder of 5,000 and 10,000. And the local hope, the Australian Rose Davies. Huge last few years to stamp herself on the Australian distance map.
Now the rest of the field comes out. 5 laps of the course, the first of our 10-kilometre races. This is going to be hard, Yaka, the Women's Open cross-country title. We'll see how they approach it. The Women's Open race off and racing. We'll see just how they sort themselves out in our first uphill. We already have the tip of the spear. It's already forming in the middle.
You know, it's one of those things where you can see you want to get out fast because you want to make sure that when you hit that narrowing of the track, the course, that you're up there and you've got a free movement of your leg stride. You're not getting chopped by somebody in front of you. But you also want to conserve a little bit because this is the first of 5 laps. So it's just making sure you get that energy expenditure correct. And so we see the main culprits, the people we think are going to be in for the medal race, move straight up to the front, but they're still doing it in a conservative manner.
And it is funny, you do see they tend to stay in their team groups, at least for the first couple of 100 metres.
Yep.
You get all the South Africans,
yeah.
all the Australians, all the New Zealanders, and at the front, it's all the Ugandans, a couple of the Eritreans on the outside, or the Ethiopians, or the Kenyans. It's great to see. It just shows how much of a team event this is.
It's definitely a team event. In those past races, you're almost watching to see those teams come through to see who are getting those teams medals. So it's as much about that as it is about the top 3. On the start line, I'm not sure if you noticed, but Gidey, who's one of the favourites, you can see her there in the middle of the Ethiopian colours. She looks so relaxed on that start line. We saw her yesterday walking the course and jogging the course around the same time as this to prepare for what the conditions were going to be like. She's one of the most laconic, laid-back distance runners before a race. Look how relaxed she was on that start line. She was sort of just like, it was almost like she was just going out for a training run. And I think that is one of the reasons why she is so great, because she's able to go into races a little bit more relaxed. And she kind of looks like she's enjoying it, which is totally against what she was like at school, where she was expelled because she didn't want to run and had to go back to school with her parents and convince the headmaster that she would join in PE classes and run. She obviously loves to run now.
Well, when you say how easy she did it, she rolled past us when we were walking the course. She was flying, full long tights, everything, and it's probably the hottest part of the day too. So I don't think the heat's going to be a problem for them. Their trials was held at almost 8,500 feet altitude, so 2,500 metres. We are not that high here.
Not that high, no.
Probably a little bit hotter, but we have the Ugandans taking an early lead here.
The temperature definitely has dropped for these 10,000 metre races. The cloud coverage is making a big difference, so hopefully that means that they can exert a little bit more pace into the race a little bit earlier than they probably would have if that sun was beating down on them. But the Ugandans have cleared out here.
So it's Stella Chisang leading the way here. She was 21st in Aarhus in 2019, winner of the Uganda trials. So just on the left-hand side. And I thought on the outside, Priska Chisang as well. World under 20 bronze medalist 2 times from Cali and in Nairobi over the 3,000 metres.
Well, Stella loves it in Australia, doesn't she? She did well in those Commonwealth Games in 2018 on the Gold Coast. Probably has fond memories from Australia as the athletes go through that billabong for the first time. Oh, you can see the Australians Rose Davies was a little bit rough through there. You have to use your arms a lot through this point to try and balance, to make sure that you don't have any mishaps. Slow it down, that tempo, if you're feeling a little bit unsure. And
the thing is, with the still water on top, you don't know how deep these footholds are. As you can see, you're just not sure, and it's really hard to land when you're unsure of how deep your feet are going to go into it. But this is where we saw a lot of the moves come from, where a lot of the athletes did split away from the pack. So Chisang leading that front group, but they are very, very close. The first 18 all within. As we get further through the list, Winnie Kalani there as well. Izzo, Lapari, Sanchez, Escribano from Spain just off the back there. As you can see, they come down into the vineyard. We'll see how they split. It was the men's race, the under-20s. We saw the first time the athletes went across to another one, but it looked like Daniel might have just stepped into the vineyards a little bit there as he gets a bit wide, but Stella Chisang leading the way. Doreen Chisang just on her left-hand side as well. She was fourth at the trials, 63rd in Aarhus.
A couple of the USA athletes are up there as well.
So Uganda was third in the team medals in 2019, Kenya second, and Ethiopia in first place. Doing a good job at the moment. 3 across the front there, and all 3 of the Chisangs taking the lead. Chibet, though, stuck in right in the middle of that pack, though, and looking very comfortable.
Well, Stella's out in front, Stella's Chisang, and she's actually a gold medalist from World Mountain Running Championships when she was 18 in the senior race. So this course might suit her.
Yeah.
So she wouldn't be afraid of those hills. So she'd be happy to push the pace up the hills and hopefully run some of the sting out of some of the athletes that are following in that pack that do have fabulous speed in their legs. You want to run some of that sting out, make them work a little bit harder in these first couple of laps so that it doesn't come down to that final finishing sprint.
Now, this is the first time that these athletes will come down to the hairpin corner at the bottom of the mountain straight. And we'll see just how much it changes this group. As you can see, running quite wide at the moment, but this hairpin has really turned a lot of these races on its head as they come down. So it's still the 3 Ugandans in the lead, 5 Ugandans in that front pack. 2 of the USA athletes, so Winnie Kalani and Edna Kerr get in there. And you can see almost a standstill as they get to that. Tesfu from Eritrea, 2 of the Americans. Leanne Pompiani, the first Australian to turn, second at the trials.
I mean, it's a pretty big pack. It looks like there's almost just under 20 athletes in that lead pack, but you see how it stretches out. It gives the athletes that chance to feel like they can jump back on to the pack, but you see the Ethiopians at the back of this pack working really hard just to bring it back in like an accordion. It goes out through that section and then comes back in as they get up. But you have to work really hard to put in that extra spurt off that last tyre area to get back on.
It's got to take a lot of energy to get back on the back of that group.
Yep.
If you're at the front, surely it's so much better conserving to just do your own thing. The entire group goes from within a metre to 20 metres and then they come back again. That can't be easy, and especially in that section of the course as well. But again, look how close it is in this front group.
And you can see Tesfu there. She's the one who's in no man's land a little bit. The 2018 World Under-20 6th place getter in the 5,000 metre equality athlete. She ran a 2:20 marathon in Valencia in December on debut, which is incredible. So you can't write her off on getting back onto the pack, because this is a great shot. You can see GIDEY there at the back of the pack. She looks very comfortable though. She doesn't look like it's panic stations. Looks like she's just staying out of trouble, watching what the field's doing and just making sure that she's covering those moves there at the back.
Well, this was probably, we said it in the men's race as well, the sprinkler system to, you know, cool down the athletes. It's actually caused another billabong. There's another mud pit out on the track because of the sprinkler system. As you can see, it's getting really chewed up just on the right-hand side.
Which probably isn't something that the athletes were hoping for.
No, and it is a lot cooler today. Yesterday, it was a scorcher. There was no cloud cover. It was just straight sun. It's a little bit cooler today, and now we've just got these extra mud pits, especially with the camber down to the left. It's actually causing you maybe to slip down just a little bit towards the outside rail, especially hard when you're trying to turn right. There was Jebatok just at the back of the pack too, the Kenyan.
Yep, Jebatok, another 21-year-old who was 5th at those World Under-20 Champs in 2018 in the 1,500 metres. Semi-finalist in the 1,500 at the Olympics when Safan Hassan fell over in that heat and got back up and caught up to the pack and then won that heat. So that was actually Jebatok, who was the Kenyan who was disadvantaged and got reinstated into that semi-final. She's out here in this lead pack. So
yeah, second at the trials. That's just her on the back on the left-hand side there. But look at GIDEY just chilling.
It's an interesting tactic, isn't it? I mean, it's an athlete where she's either supremely confident because there's no tension in her body at all that would make you sense that she was tired. She's just pretty much just getting these early laps done till the business end of the race starts. The Ugandans are having nothing of being out of the back and just taking an easy ride. They're really wanting to push this pace early.
Yeah, I'm keeping an eye on Brenda Jabet, though. She looks very, very comfortable just sitting right in the middle. She's getting the air broken by the Ugandans, tucked in right in. And now it's Leanne Pompiani who's actually trying to get on the back of that front pack. That is a big move, and she's chewing up the meters. She's gone straight past Tesfu. She's got a sight set on that front group.
That is a huge move by the Australian Pompiani, who we're watching there. She won the 10,000 metre national championship race in December to really stamp herself as one of the athletes to watch in distance running. She went through that billabong really well the second time.
A really light feet through it. There's Izzo and Lipari working their way through as well. Chalanga next to go through Jaba from South Africa. And here's a big group of athletes. The second main pack here. A lot of Australians, a lot of South Africans. That's the first of our Indian athletes as well. 2 of the Indian athletes. Of our New Zealanders making their way through the group now as well. And Pompiani, she's picking off one of the Ugandans up this very tough section. It's like Winnie Kaladi just off the back, the American. And Edna Kurgat's in there as well. So there's 2 of the American athletes in that top group.
Well, Kurgat, the 31-year-old, won those USA cross-country championships. Made the move after 8 kilometres. So it did similar, sort of stuck with the pack, and then just at 8 kilometres made that move and made the comment after the trials that she was just living the dream. Really happy to win those trials and be out here representing the USA.
Absolutely living the dream. So Njetic on the outside, Agnes Jabet-Njetic. She was 4th at the trials. That's her just brushing her way through the grapes of the vine. There actually are grapes on those vines.
Not quite sure they'll be stopping to get any at this point of the race.
Well, they're not ripe yet. But Pompiani has gotten off the back. She's on the back of that group. It's Cherop, the Ugandan, that dropped off the back. Rispa Cherop was 6th at their trials. That's a big move from the Australian. I think the hometown supporters really spurred her on to get up early. It is early stages, though, in this race.
Yep. Doreen Chesang, the 32-year-old Ugandan. You mentioned 25th in the cross-country in 2017 in Uganda and the senior race, and also 63rd in the 2019 race. So not a stranger to the senior race at World Cross Country. I think experience really makes a difference in these style of races. See Doreen there. Chesang looking relaxed. Happy to keep this tempo ticking over to make sure that, you know, you slow it down, there's that chance that the other athletes catch back on. She's moving really nicely. That turnover's good. She's relaxing the shoulders. It's a big pack still, though, isn't it, Matt?
It is. And again, the Ethiopians just sitting at the back, just biding their time, letting the work happen, just rolling with the pace. GIDEY just coming on the inside. Obviously, the positioning at the first sort of turn. It's a bit deceptive to see just how far GIDEY's working. You can see Daniel's just seeing that move as well on the inside. So we'll see where they turn. You don't want to get boxed out too much, but she has moved up a hell of a lot.
They're being really really cautious here in these early laps around there because they don't have to do anything dangerous around those moves just yet.
Not at all.
We saw in some early races in that last lap, that's where it can get quite dangerous when they are needing to keep the pace on and get round there to do the turn quickly back. Doreen Chesang's not afraid to take this and push the pace up the hill through here.
And Tesfu looks like she's made a little bit of ground as well. It is hard to see as they come back. But this section, as you see, again, like an accordion, it stretches out through the chicanes and it comes back together when they get to the top of the hill. So 3 more laps to go here.
The Kenyans don't want to lead at that moment. You could see in that fabulous overhead shot that Chesang was happy to be out there in front, but nobody else was going to join her on the shoulders. They were happy to just hang back and let Chesang set that pace.
I don't think Brenda Chebet's left the back shoulder of Chesang at all. She's been sitting right on her heels. And she's had a very clean run, so that's that first group.
Yeah, Chebet is definitely one of the athletes that's a danger. Her CV is just incredible. As we mentioned, she's 22. Knows how to win those world cross-country races coming off the junior race.
Exactly. We've got a couple of back-to-back junior champions. Obviously, the last 3 junior champions have been or are in this race at the moment. GIDEY won 15 and 17, and Beatrice Chebet, she won in 19, and then they're going head-to-head in this open race. And Daniel just on the outside is keeping an eye on this field. Pompeani's done well to get up there. Winnie Kaladi, she didn't like where she was stuck. So now she's up in that first half of the group. Kurgat just at the back.
And you can see Emily Chebet in there. She's turning 37 today, so she's celebrating her birthday out there on the course, the other Chebet.
What better way to do it?
Yeah, what better way to do it? 4th at the 10,000 World Champs in 2013, 8th in the 10,000 in 2007, so a quality athlete.
So there was a rumour that there was going to be some storms hitting, which is why we did the 10,000 metres for women 5 minutes early.
Yep.
It is starting to rain.
They also pulled the men's race forward 20 minutes. So I'm guessing there's someone on the radar. They can see some dark clouds over the top of the mountain, so they can see there's some storms as we see a fall.
Who have we lost there?
Hopefully we'll be able to pick that up pretty soon.
Yeah, once they go through the Billabong, they'll go through another split section. It was one of the Kenyans, but there were storms. Hopefully it's not going to be too dangerous. Is it Kaladi?
It was the USA athlete.
Kaladi Friesge just falling off. She's got to the back of the group though.
Yep.
So she's back in touch.
So the 2 training partners, the USA athletes in that pack, Kurgat and Kaladi. Kaladi was 8th in the 3,000 in the World Under 20 2014 and 5th in those USA cross-country championships in January. Has been an NCAA 10,000 metre champion in 2019. So she's got herself back up. Hasn't seemed to have affected her too much, that little slip. No,
so she's right up there. Gedich just on the inside. Nawawuna on the left-hand side of the screen, really powering. This is a tough section. The thing is, not every line is an even hill. Some bits are steeper than the other. And the pack, you can throw a blanket over and you can see the rain pouring down. I say pouring, it's sprinkling, but a lot of those umbrellas that were used to keep the shade are now going to be very useful, I think. Well, hopefully it's only just these small drops.
I don't think any of them will be complaining about these conditions when they thought it was going to be absolutely sweltering out there.
But if this rain does come in and get a little bit heavier, it absolutely changes the men's race.
It does.
It's not the same race at all.
No, you've got your proper European cross-country race right there when it starts to pour, and
it'll still be warmer.
It still will be a little bit warmer than Aarhus.
I think so. So they come back down to the vineyard. They're all working their way into the Shiraz section. Pompayani just off the back of that group. A small gap back to, looks like Kalani Frisky. And it might be Rispacherov just off the back of that group as well. But seem to get back on.
Noah Werner's doing a great job there, the 19-year-old from Kenya, who doesn't have a lot of results. She is a relatively newcomer to the Kenyan team in the Kenyan trials for the World Under 22 World Championships. She was 11th in the 5,000, so didn't even make that team, but she's really stepped up. She won the Kenyan trials for the World Cross Country December last year, and she shocked the field.
Yeah, I think it was a bit of a boil over that one. And
yeah.
I think she is a rising star.
Yeah, no, so there's a lot of people that are watching her. She has an ambition too. Like, she didn't just win that and then talk about, oh, I'm fabulously happy to be a part of the Kenyan lineup. She then went on to talk about ambitions to be on the podium.
Love it.
Yeah, so she's believing in her ability, and she's running like that out there now. She's not afraid to go with any move that's been made so far in this race, and she's looking good. But you've got to remember, at this time last year, she was a school student.
Well, that's it.
We're talking about Noah Wanu, the Kenyan athlete.
Kefale there just in the middle. She was 6th at the trials, 8th in the under-20s back in 2019, the Ethiopian in the middle of the pack. They really do bide the time, that the Ethiopians. They just sit back. They're not going to make any major moves. It's a fast section here again. Very, very wide. A lot of those athletes, you can see down the mountain straight just how steep it is. They get to the bottom. That's where the chicane is, the hairpin, and they go straight back up again. So that's the highest point of the course when they come through the vineyard area. After that, work their way back down. It'll still be Doreen Chisang leading the way. But on the outside, we have the next looks like Gebra Salama.
Gebra Salama's made that move just as they were heading into that corner.
Oh, I like it.
It looked planned, didn't it?
Did you hear me say that the Ethiopians just sit at they've been sitting in the back all day?
It definitely looked planned. It looked like a targeted attack move. She kind of looked like, okay, I've had enough now. I'm going to start to make the move, and I'm going to make that move in the hard part. I'm going to really put the pressure down and make them hurt.
This is the spot where no one can pass you. Unless they want to go and jump over some stuff, they're going to sit behind you. And we talked about having some repeat gold medalists from the junior ages.
Yep. Bronze medalist from the under-20 World Cross Country race. Fabulous, fabulous race, that 2019 under-20 race. Gebra Salama, doesn't she look relaxed as well through the face? She made that move up the hill. She's really opened it up, and you can see it stretch the field straight away. So she has upped that tempo, and she's made that move to make sure that in this middle phases of this race, getting towards the business end, she's upped that tempo. The Australian.
4Ks to go here for our women's senior cross-country title. GIDEY still looking very comfortable, just sitting at the back. Noam Werner just on her outside, and Getich there as well. Beatrice Chibet on the outside. Prisha and Doreen Chisang. As we go back to the chase group, Tesfu, Chaudhry, Tanaka, Rose Davies next, Pashley. Looks like Adams just behind them as well.
Look, Tanaka's an interesting athlete as well. She was 8th at the Tokyo Olympics in the 1,500 metres. Is a little bit further. National record holder in that 1,500, a sub-4-minute 1,500 runner.
Sharma from South Africa just with Bat Doyle right behind her. Galvin Hansen. Hansen, a late addition into the team as well for some injuries, so in a very good role. The 3 Kenyans though, Getich, Noam Werner, and Chibet. I feel like they made a decisive decision here, and GIDEY's had to make some move, and Gebra Salama as well. So we've got a group of 5 all of a sudden tearing down towards the Billabong.
Well, interestingly, Gebra Salama made that move, but then she really put the brakes back on. You know, it looked like she was trying to put some surges into the race, which does take the sting out of athletes' legs. Surging sometimes is that killer, where you pull the brakes on a little bit, then you go faster again, almost like that fartlek style of running, which makes a cross-country race extra hard. The Kenyans have sensed that pull back in the pace, and they haven't enjoyed it, and they've gone to the front. They're really making their move now.
So, wow, all of a sudden, this group that was 20 strong for more than half of the race has now blown out into a 3 and a 2. The 3 Kenyans, Noam Werner, Chibet, and Getich, then GIDEY, Gebra Salama. GIDEY this is the most urgent she's looked so far.
Definitely. She's really had to respond to this move. But, I mean, if you're an Ethiopian fan and you're watching on, she's responded well. They have made that move, but they haven't been able to break her, and she goes through the billabong, the mud pit.
So we're going to see a brand new champion. None of these athletes in this front group have won a world cross-country title as a senior athlete. It's the 4th time they go through. They're going to have to go through one more time. We might just be losing Getich off the back through this tough hill section. Gebre Salama gets up into 4th place. Noah Wuna and Chibet, and GIDEY, Gebre Salama and Getich. You can see just how hard that hill is. You know how fast these athletes are, and to watch them go up that hill, they are not moving that quick. It is a hard slog.
And Noah Wuna's actually making it look quite easy, isn't she? I mean, and that's the thing, GIDEY won't know a lot about Noah Wuna. They'll know that she's got some potential because she did win those trials, but they haven't seen a lot of her.
No.
So there's been a lot of talk about how good she could be, but there'd be that little element of worry of, okay, I've got to make sure I cover these moves, because she is looking very, very good as she pushes the pace up through the vineyard.
You can't do a lot of study of the athletes when they don't have many results to work off.
This is her first time representing Kenya at an international level. So the first time that she's representing in the Kenyan colours, she's come out here and look at her go. She's not afraid of the competition. Athletes that have very impressive CVs behind her, she's really taking it to them and showing
that she's not scared. Not
scared at all.
No. Well, you see that by winning the Kenyan trials. Anytime you win the Kenyan trials, you're putting yourself up on the podium or close to the top in the world. And Noah Wuna's really showing these athletes that they have to beat her today.
Yep, and it's those hill sections where she's really making them work. She's not taking the foot off the pedal, and she's working hard now up those hill sections, those really tough sections that we've talked about on this course. She's just relentless out there at the moment.
So a tough section here through the woodland. Hard left and then a hard right. And it'll be about 400 metres and 1 lap to go. There's Emily Chibet coming through that same area as well. Again, a lot of points on the line. It's going to be between the Kenyans and the Ethiopians for those first medals in the team event. Tesfaye making her way through. There's Chibet again.
Tesfaye turned 25 yesterday here in Australia, celebrated her birthday, her 25th, quarter of a century.
To be that young.
Let's face her. You're right, it becomes for some of these athletes who have dropped off that top 3 medal race about that team's race. They have to stay mentally still switched on because there's still a medal up for grabs, so they've got to make sure that they still keep going for their teammates. Top four athletes for your country.
We see they're really dropping Gebre Salama off the back here, so we could see the medals decided with 2 kilometres to go. They will come back up again for the final lap for the women's senior cross-country title. It's Kenya 1, Noah Wuna, and it's Beatrice Chibet. And then GIDEY with 2 kilometres left to go here on Mount Panorama in Bathurst. See just how fast they're going. They're already picking up a few athletes from the back of the group. A big swig of water from GIDEY. Noah Wuna just on the left-hand side, Chibet on the right-hand side, then GIDEY hot on their heels. Chibet now takes on the lead.
And at this point of the race, you start to look at the athletes who you feel like are starting to fatigue. You look at their faces, you look at their arm action, if there's any tension, if their shoulders are rising and going up, if their cadence starts to slow down and the turnover, the stride length drops down. But the 3 in the front all look so fresh and are hitting the ground and running off the ground just so well.
Now GIDEY's got herself up into 2nd place behind Beatrice Chibet. Noah Wuna's not letting her get too far ahead, though. And Gebre Salama, we thought we might have lost her earlier, but she's made some inroads back onto Noah Wuna. And again, this is just a bonus muddy section. This wasn't in the program. It was supposed to be the sprinklers.
But they definitely look like they have broken free. GIDEY takes a quick look at her watch. Needs to be somewhere.
Yeah, well, the finish line, let's go. You can see GIDEY really likes where she could see her place herself right on the far right-hand side, probably the dry section. The sprinklers are on the left, and really wanted to hold that line because she knows every stride matters. And the last lap here, with Beatrice Chebet just one step in front. Gebra Salama's got herself up into that bronze medal position in front of Noah Woona. Noah Woona might just be dropping off the back. We'll see what she's got on this last lap. But Chebet and GIDEY, this is going to be where it's made or broken here in this Billabong section for the last time.
Well, I think in terms of team tactics, Chebet's teammates have done exactly what she's wanted them to do. They did push that pace. Noah Woona did push up the hills to try and take some sting out of the world record holder over 5,000 and 10,000 on the track, GIDEY. They know to beat GIDEY, they have to really work together, and they've done that, but now it's all about Beatrice Chebet. She's out there on her own with the world record holder, GIDEY.
I don't know which one looks more comfortable. They both look very, very calm and collected. They know that the race isn't won just here. It could be lost here, but it's not won yet. We've still got a long way to go.
GIDEY hasn't done any of the work yet. That's the only difference. Like, Chebet is pushing the pace now that we see Noah Woona dropping back there. She's in a battle for that bronze position now, and it's a fight. Yeah,
Gebra Salama might be just be pulling away, but Ngetic hasn't dropped off the pace too much. And go through that Billabong for the final time here. It's tough work, and look at that. That is what's happening out the back of Mount Panorama. That's why the race has been brought forward. We don't want that to hit in the middle of the men's and the women's races. But GIDEY has made that move up the hill. We've seen so many moves at the start of the boomerang.
Yep.
And this could be it. We didn't say it was going to be one here. She's proved me wrong again. This may be the winning move from LETESENBET GIDEY up the first half of this boomerang.
Well, this is the quality athlete that we're talking about. First in the Oregon World Championships 10,000. The athletes knew that they had to do something special to try and run the sting out of GIDEY's legs, but she is just a quality athlete, and the star power of her is shining through. Look at her go. She hasn't done anything until this point in terms of she's just followed the pace and covered every move. And now when she's felt like the pace from Chebet was starting to slow down a little bit, she's just gone for it. And she's gone for it by opening up that stride length and running for home.
So she heads through the vineyard for the final time. It looks like the bronze medal might not be secured there for Gebra Salama, because Ngetic is making a late surge. There's Gebra Salama into the vineyard. There's Ngetic, gets past Noah Woona, who's sitting in 5th place. But this gap is opening up one of the toughest sections of the course, out of the vineyard and into the woodland area. There's our 3rd place. She takes a look over her shoulder. Gebra Salama about 4 seconds back from Ngetic and Noah Woona. But GIDEY made the move. She's won the under-20s twice. She was 3rd last time in 2019 in Aarhus. Can she take a victory for Ethiopia? The Ethiopians haven't won this since Tirunesh Dababa in 2008.
So this is big.
This is big. It's been all Kenyans since 2008, Tirunesh Dababa. And GIDEY, she takes another look over the shoulder. She would have to do something drastic from here. I don't want to give the commentators curse. Looks like she might have it wrapped up. Chebet takes that corner as well. GIDEY really working hard on the side. She must be feeling it, because she keeps looking over her shoulder. About 650 metres left to go for the Women's Open 10,000. The gritting of the teeth down the hill. This is hard, Yaka.
The thing is, you can see on her face with that grimace that she clearly is feeling the pain, but you can just see in that turnover of her legs and the foot strike, she's just so beautiful off the ground still, even though she would be feeling the pain of the lactic acid through the body and, you know, just desperate to make sure she crosses that line in that gold medal position. She has done the hard yards. She made the move when she needed to. She made the break, so she'll be wanting to enjoy this last bit, but she's just got that one final turn, sharp turn, to get through that final hill section, which is really tough. And Chebet, she's just got all eyes on that silver medal.
So there's Chebet taking that silver medal. GIDEY would have made the turn to come up the hill. We can see it just across in front of us. She's got her teammates running up beside her. Chebet takes the turn. Gebra Salama is making the turn behind her, but Ngetic has that bronze medal in her sights. So will it be 2 Ethiopians on the podium or 2 Kenyans as they come up for the final time? Chebet, not sure she'll have much left in her, but GIDEY, she's really grinding through these last strides. This is Such a tough task to come up this hill for the final time. They take a sharp left again, and they fly down the hill. Do they have enough legs left in? Because Chibet's making a move.
You can see the cadence of GIDEY was starting to really slow at the back end of that hill, whereas Chibet's was upping her tempo. She's got her eyes on GIDEY's back, and she's chasing hard, but GIDEY's now got that downhill momentum.
It's going to be hard to make up the gap here. But GIDEY, she takes another look over the shoulder. It has been some hard work for an athlete of this level. LETESENBET GIDEY. The crowd is up and about. Chibet is flying down the outside, though. Here comes Chibet, and she's in front. Beaches Chibet. GIDEY hits the deck, and Chibet is going to take the title in the finishing straight. Gebra Salama is going to cross the line in second place. And GIDEY is going to take the bronze medal.
Wow. What scenes. The race is never over in a cross country until that final finish. Yes, she had it. She was home and hosed. GIDEY was home and hosed on that final turn. You could see at the back end of that last hill, her cadence really dropped and her knee lift was low. And you just thought, okay, you sensed that there was pain there, but you just thought she'd get down that final section okay. Chibet just upped the cadence and turnover and really drove to the finish. And wow, that was
unbelievable.
Unbelievable, unbelievable finish.
You could see the grimace on the face. She kept turning around, looking over the shoulder. You could sense that there was maybe something there. You said the cadence really changed to the top of the hill. And we talked yesterday, this hill to finish, if you've got no legs left underneath you, it's going to be tough. We saw what happened to the Japanese athlete earlier, but for GIDEY to stumble at the finish, and Chibet flies down the outside to take the title.
Well, it's going to be interesting too, because there's that team title, and I'm not quite sure, but GIDEY got helped then, and I'm not quite sure if that's allowed the way that happened. So
no, the officials gave those Ethiopian team staff a bit of a spray.
Oh, and she didn't ask for help, so it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out, especially with the team result as well.
This last section has been causing a hell of a lot of drama for these athletes.
Well, they've worked hard. They were smart at the start where they ran within themselves, and GIDEY was covering every move. Did she go too early? Do you know what I mean? Like, she looked so good in that back end of that last lap, but did she go too early? As we see Rose Davies and Donnelly from the Great Britain team, Kirk crossing the line. You can see the athletes are totally spent. It is hard on this downhill movement. They do have that lactic through their legs, and so they will have the wobbles and be trying to make sure they don't block their knees as they're landing on that downhill bit, so they stumble. But wow, that's going to be one of the races of cross-country history that you look back on and just remember you never know what's going to happen in that final 100-meter sprint.
That is just speechless.
Yeah. Yeah, let's just hope GIDEY's okay. I mean, that's the first and foremost thing that we'd be focusing on, is the fact that the Ethiopian was running incredibly. She's a top quality athlete. Let's hope that she's okay, because that was hard to watch. And Chibet ran a great race. I mean, don't lose sight of the fact that Chibet, she pushed the pace, you know, when she needed to push the pace. In that last lap, she was the one who took over the lead and made sure that they didn't drop that turnover. They kept it. She kept the pace going in that last lap. And she fought hard through the tyres. She fought really hard.
She could sense that the cadence was slowing, I think, up the hill. And when you do sense that, it does spur you on just a little bit. It's a carrot dangling out in front. And obviously, she did not know that was going to happen down the home straight. But she put herself in the position, and she's the world cross-country champion for 2023. The Kenyan domination continues.
And a deserved world champion. She ran a fantastic race. South African athlete, Molatsan, crossing the line.
So our results there: Beatrice Chibet takes out the title. Gebra Salama in second place. And GIDEY, who fought hard, she got dropped back to 5th. leaves with the bronze medal there. Strong finish from the Ugandans, 11th, 12th and 14th, and they should get themselves up into that team medal there.
And Doreen was fabulous. She really ran a tough, strong race.
And I think the Australians might have just finished just outside in 4th in that team medal.
What a great effort by the locals.
Fantastic.
Australians. Great effort.
Still have plenty of athletes making their way down this finishing chute for the final time.
Well, that was definitely one of those emotional races where it's going to take a little bit to get over that one, Matt.
Absolutely, absolutely unreal. Let's relive that finishing straight there. Chibet, that's a tough image to look at.
Well, this is sport, isn't it?
It
It's
is.
that fabulous
Highs and the lows
moment
are
of
the
the
same.
highs of winning, and in the background you can see GIDEY, that low moment of disappointment. Gebrselassie crossing that line to the silver medal.
And I understand that the team camaraderie with the Ethiopian officials coming out to try and help GIDEY off the... But it's tough to see.
That was really tough to see, that race, but fabulous cross-country race to watch. And a race that will go down in history.
As our final finishers make their way across the line. The men's race is not too far away. We may get it done before the storm hits. It's looking a bit bit dark at the top of Mount Panorama.
Absolutely. And we know Dylan has the London Marathon.